Welcome to this workshop. My name is Savvy, and today we're going to have a little workshop learning on how to feminize, masculinize, or make your voice more androgynous, or really anything that you want to achieve with your voice. So, yeah, I'm back. It's been a good month of holidays. It was really nice. I hope you all also had a nice time resting and all that good stuff. But the year is going to start again, and with that, the voice work must keep on going. So, let's get started. Before we do this workshop of ours, I have to say a few things. First off, please do keep your mics muted for the duration of this session. You will have the opportunity to move up on stage and practice your voice directly with me. That being said, let's have a little disclaimer about voice health and safety. First of all, you have to listen to your body and to your voice, of course. If your voice starts to feel tired or raspy or really roughed up, then you're better off just stopping for the day, and it will not run away. You will have done your progress for the day. Just rest your voice. If you keep pushing beyond that part, then you might eventually hurt your voice, which will then take a long time to recover, and it will just eventually make your vocal progress longer and your journey thus a little bit more tougher. So with that being said, let's talk about how we can keep our voice really healthy, really comfortable to use. And this goes through several things. First of all, you have to drink water. And when I mean you have to drink water, you really got to, especially a little bit of time before you start using your voice. That is mostly because if you drink water, it's not directly going to touch the vocal folds, sorry. Kind of mixed up vocal cords and vocal folds here. They're the same thing, pretty much. And so when you drink water, it doesn't exactly touch them directly. So you're not going to have that hydration that you really need. No, actually, the way that your voice gets hydrated is through the bloodstream. So make sure to drink the water, wait 10-15 minutes for the hydration to take hold, and then your voice is hydrated and ready to be used. Now, let's talk about how we want our voice to be used when we're doing the first sounds of the day. Maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. When you wake up, your voice is like all tired. Like you just get started of the day, you haven't drank water, so you are dehydrated and your voice is just not warmed up. Because the voice is just like any other muscle in the body. Well, it's not like exactly any muscle in the body, but it does need to be warmed up, right? Think about it like a marathon. If you're going to be running for several kilometers, something feet for US citizens here, freedom units, you're going to want to warm up your legs, right? Otherwise, you're just going to start running for a little bit and eventually you will just hurt yourself. The same is true for the voice. So really do make sure that you hydrate plenty and that you use your voice very gently in a vocal warm-up. Talking about this vocal warm-up, there are a few vocal warm-ups that we can do. Generally, those are called SOVTE. It stands for semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. Now, what does this all shenanigan mean? Well, when you're using your voice, the airflow only comes from the lungs. Let's take a look at this slide real quick. So the air only comes from your lungs from below, and then it arrives at the source, which is basically where the vocal folds will be located. That is exactly behind your Adam's apple. We all have an Adam's apple, despite it being gendered by the name Adams. It's what we call the larynx, and it's in every one of us, right? You might have the cartilage that shows more or less, but you can feel it with your hand if you put it gently on your neck. Please do not press down if you're trying to find the larynx. Just gently hover over it, and you can find like a little bump there. So anyways, you're pushing air from the lungs to the larynx, and then you have like little flaps, which we call the vocal folds, and thanks to the input of air that you give them, they're going to start to vibrate and create voice. And so when you're warming up your voice, you're only pushing air from below. Generally, we all are speaking like that. Very few of us speak by breathing in air. I mean, you technically can, but it's going to sound really weird like this, okay? Now, the point of the SOVTE, or of the warm-up exercise, is to basically kind of create a constriction, or not a constriction, sorry, an occlusion here at the level of the mouth. Because if we have a lot of pressure from below, then we have no pressure at all up there to counter it. Hence why we like to do things like a Z sound, Z, or an O sound, O, where your lips are a little bit in the way of the airflow. And this allows for a less pressurized environment for your vocal folds to warm up in. So let's give that a try. You might unmute yourself for this little thing. I'll do the scale or the slide, then count to 3, and then you can do it after me. Okay? Let's give it a try. I go first. And you go in 3, 2, 1. All the way up and then down. Okay, very good. That's a really good slide. Okay, now let's try this on an O sound, just to try a different kind of slide. Oh. And you go in 3, 2, 1. Oh. And back down. Oh. Okay, very good. Good job. Okay, so you might mute your mic again after this. And you can keep doing those with your mic muted, of course. It's encouraged. And actually, if you want to practice along people that come up on stage, you're more than welcome to do it with your mic muted. Practice makes perfect. It's nice to know the theory, but it never beats using your voice directly. Okay, perfect. All right, so I have one more thing to say is that little thing we did, that vocal warm-up, try to do it like 1 or 2 minutes before really looking into using your voice in an area that you're not comfortable with. Typically, if you're going to be singing or practicing a range of voice that you're generally not used to while doing, then it's really important that you do that warm-up process. So what have we learned? You wake up, you drink water, 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes pass, you can start doing a bit of warm-up. You can also try scales like, or even higher, depends on your range. And you can do it increasingly higher or decreasingly lower if you're looking to practice a lower range. Generally, it's a good idea to kind of like go all across your range. As long as it feels easy, it's good. Remember, we're only trying to get the muscle warmed up and the blood flow going for it, okay? Now, another health disclaimer that I have not been addressing so far is, well, medication or other substances. If you do take some medications, like spironolactone has been known to be somewhat dehydrating to the body, but it's not the only thing responsible for this. Coffee generally does that too. Well, you have to have like a lot of sugar for that, but generally too much sugar can do that. And alcohol or smoking, of course, are dehydrating to the body. So generally what I'm saying is you are, master of your own body, right? Body autonomy reigns supreme at the end of the day. So do whatever you want. But just do take that into account that if you are to practice your voice for extended amounts of time, that you try to avoid smoking, drinking, or taking the medication. Medication is important, so do take it, please. But try to not take it when you're going to do specifically your voice training session. Okay? All right. Now I've got 1 more minute. I'll just talk a little bit about voice and how it functions. I've already touched on the topic a little bit here, but basically we're going to talk about voice using the power source filter model. Very simply, what this means is you have air in your lungs, you push it up to the larynx, there's some vocal folds that flap, okay? You make those flap, it creates a sound, which we call the source sound. And once you create that sound, well, it can't really exist or reverberate unless it passes through the filter, which is the vocal tract. And this is the big buzzword we all have been hearing so far. Resonance is generally referring to that part, the filter. And this allows us to modify our voices to make it
really, really dark and like kind of like masculine leaning, or
really, really, really small to like a more feminine leaning voice. Okay, so yeah, that's certainly what you want to be knowing about voice, very simply put. There are other things that I didn't touch upon here, such as specificities on how you use the vocal folds or how to modify the filter, but we'll be seeing that in, well, just right now, because now I'll be asking someone to move up on stage. Today I'll start with someone who wants to feminize their voices. If you want to move up on stage to feminize your voice with me, please do raise your hand. Don't be shy, and you can come up here. All right, I see one person here, dead alive. Please come up on stage. Come on, come on, come on. Applause for dead alive. Should I just say zombie, perhaps? Oh, hi. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi, pleasure to meet you.
How's you?
I'm
Nice
good.
to meet you too.
Thank you for asking.
Is this your very first workshop you've been to?
Yes, it is. I just joined the
Welcome.
community. Thank you.
That's awesome. Welcome. Okay, so we got 10 minutes starting from now. Let's go. Boop. Okay, so, all right, dead, alive, dead. Let's see. Let's
you can
keep
call
it
me
alive.
Eli if you want.
I'll go for Eli then. All right, so Eli, what is it that you would like us to work on today with your voice?
So I've been taking some struggles in. I think my voice pitch is still a bit low. This is my comfortable higher pitch. This is my normal voice. And I'm trying to reach a level where I can not only go into a more feminine voice, but also more androgynous voice.
Okay, gotcha. So, what do you already know about voice theory in general? Like, is this completely new to you? Like, are some of these terms vocal fold mass, vocal fold closure, resonance?
I think
Is that all new for you?
I think I've gotten a bit good with pitch. I can somehow imitate it well by listening to it, but at least with vocal fold mass and the other one you referred, I'm still a bit lost at how to train those and how to get better at those.
Okay, I got you. And what about resonance? You know, the whole thing that allows us to have a really dark voice or a really bright voice. Is that something you've learned or tried to manipulate in the past?
I'm not quite sure. I had some weird experiences when pre-puberty. I had really good control over my vocal cords. I could imitate almost any voice I listened before puberty, which was a bit weird, I think. Obviously with some limits, but one of the main parts that I'm looking for is to regain that power to be able to imitate anything I hear. I'm not sure if that helps answer the question. But
no,
I guess a little bit.
Okay, we'll look at that into this. Of course, imitating anything is super fun. Here's an imitation of a drum kit. Okay, so let's go. All right, so I want to talk about this really interesting thing called resonance. This is really paramount to voice feminization. You can bring your pitch as high as you want.
like I start down here and I go, oh. But if my pitch is really high and I don't sound feminine, what's happening? What's wrong?
And that's generally because, yes, my vocal folds are vibrating really fast at a high rate, giving a high pitch, but my vocal tract is still, and if you look on the graph, my vocal tract is still really big, right? My larynx is
all the way down, and so even if I'm like really high, I'm not going to sound feminine, right?
So to sound feminine, you would have to bring the resonance higher, right? So like bring the resonance higher. And bringing the resonance higher, you know, to avoid conflating or confounding resonance with pitch, we're going to say brighter for a bright voice
and darker for a dark voice.
As opposed to a high pitch or
A low pitch.
right? Okay.
Mm.
So first of all, can you give me like a really quiet whisper? Something like hello. Awesome. Now we'll do the following. I want you to imitate after me. I'll do a really dark whisper. Pretend you're Darth Vader.
Pat that cat.
You're going to say pat that cat on a dark whisper.
Pat that cat.
God.
Awesome. And they're going to take just the word pat, and Darth Vader is going to turn into Fem Vader. Okay? So,
Pat,
Mhm.
pat, pat,
pat, pat, pat, pat, pat, pat. Pat that cat. Okay, that's really good. Now notice how the sound changed. You went from
pat that cat.
like a really big vocal tract, and you went
Pat, 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 pat.
pat to a really bright pat that cat. Okay, so already here, if we are to gender whispers alone, we have
A really dark whispered, which sounds obviously masculine. Sorry.
versus a really bright whisper, which sounds a lot more feminine. Right? And so that's already going toward our goal. Now, what we want to do is couple that brightness that you found on the whisper with the vocal folds that are vibrating to create a feminine voice. So let's give this a try. You're going to go back up to that pat sound.
Pa, pa, pa.
Okay? And then you're going to try and stay there. Okay, awesome. And now you're going to try the following. Yes. Okay, and I'm going to say pa 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 pa. Yes, that's very good. And now you say pat that cat. Give it a try. Okay, very good. How does that sound to you already as a starter?
It sounds really nice.
Pat that cat. Okay, nice. I like that too. I do think that there is a bit of a flaw with it. For one, it's really breathy. Like you have pat that cat. It's like you're expelling all of the air that you have in your lungs. So we want to like reduce that airflow to have more of a pat that cat. Another thing I note is that this is a D sharp 4. This is generally really high, even for a feminine voice. You can actually talk a lot lower than this. We're up here. I speak down there. I speak like down here. It's like A3-ish. So try to match my pitch here. Awesome. And I can say, pat that cat.
Pat that cat.
Okay, sounds great. A little bit breathy, a bit fluttery. You might notice this pat that cat. That's pretty normal. That's because what's happening is your vocal folds are really light, right? You know, that's why you have such a soft voice. Pat that cat. But combining a really soft vocal fold structure with a lot of air, it's kind of like blowing away the vocal folds out of proportion. You know, imagine like a piece of paper and you like blow like a really strong wind on them. That's kind of what's happening. Pat that. You want to have more of a pat that cat.
That cat.
Yes, very much better. Yes, and now you're regulating the airflow better. So now you have like pat that cat, a really solid voice. Now, let's give this a try on some text. Why don't we? So up here you might find, and you can see it here or there or anywhere, this very first sentence. So we're going to try and go back up here. We can brighten the voice again.
Pa, pa.
Pat. Very good. Very good. And now? Yes. And now try to read that sentence. Pat That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on the flat mat.
Okay, very good. Sounds great. Let's see for the next one. Actually, this is more of an aw sound or ah. Like, do you say you go in the bar or you go in the bar?
Bar.
See, so
Bar.
basically, this is a very different ah sound. We have ah, mad, and we have ah, bar, right? So here having a bit of a darker sound is normal and expected, okay? So let's try this. Ah, the crowbar opened a subpar car.
The crowbar opened the subpar car.
Very good. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, this time it's oh as in bore. Okay, so let's try this. Oh, the store doors creaked more.
Creaked more on the fourth floor.
Very good. Okay, so far this sounds amazing. You're really bright, you are soft, maybe a hint of breathiness, you maybe are using too much air, but it's really feminine. There is one problem with it, and I think that you're already getting to it, is that it sounds really monotonous, like you are a robot, right? Which can be fun, of course. We love robots, of course. You know, we love robots, you know. So anyways, what do you mean aperture science? So,
Oh my god, that's really good.
as you can see, I'm tapping my neck. So this is how I do the voice. Oh no, it's already over. But I want to try one last thing with you before we do wrap it up, is we're going to try and break that monotony, create a more intonated voice. So instead of having, that mad brat sat on that flat mat, we're going to instead be trying, that mad brat sat on that flat mat. Give it a try. That mad brat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Try it again this time.
That mad
That mad
sat
brat.
on that flat. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Okay,
think
that
my
mad
voice is
brat
shaking
sat
a
on
bit.
that flat mat. It's okay. So, as you noticed, it's a lot harder to keep that bright sound, right? You had before that mad rat sat on that flat mat, and it sounded really bright and femme. But as soon as you started putting intonation, or rather, I should say, pitch modulation in the mix, that mad brat sat on that flat mat. Like we have like a darker voice here, right? Like you're not as bright as you were before, right? So here in that case, you would want to kind of like challenge yourself to use that brighter voice at different given pitches, and then try to modify the pitch and move it around without having the resonance drop or break down. Okay? But for starters, this was a really solid voice. All you need to do now is practice, practice, practice. And please record yourself so you can listen back to your voice and thus have an easy time, noticing what mistakes you do. All right?
Thank
Alright,
you,
awesome.
teacher.
You're welcome. Applause for Dead Alive!
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so now
We'll move on to a masculine voice.
who is interested in making their voice sound like a
Hyper Giga Chad.
Okay, I see someone here, Xuni Lee. Are you jumping out of excitement or do you want to masculinize your voice?
I want to masculine.
All right, come up on stage. Applause for Xuni. The stairs are here if you want. Yep. Take your time. Oh, stairs are here too.
Either way.
Applause for Xuni. I really love the shark avatar you have going for yourself. It's really cool. Okay, let's
Thank you, I made
start.
myself.
We got... No way!
I
You
didn't
model?
make it. I made it, but I didn't make it, but I used bases and stuff.
You kind of made it. Okay, let's
guess.
start. We got 10 minutes starting from now. All right, Xuni, welcome. Is this the first time you ever set foot on the stage? Or,
Yes.
in front of this workshop? Yeah, okay, cool.
I've been
What
to the
do you-
workshop before, I've never been on stage before.
Okay, well, welcome to stage. So you want to learn to make your voice more...
Masculine.
That's right?
Indeed.
Indeed. Okay, so then, how much of the voice theory do you know? Like, do you feel like you have a pretty solid baseline? Are you like more in like the practicing phase of things, or are there some
Kind of
areas?
like in the middle of like, I don't know. Like, I know a little bit, but not a lot. But I
Okay.
don't know. It's weird. I don't know.
We'll talk about the things that you might need to know about voice. So
Cool beans.
first off, what I want to do with you is see how low you can go in pitch in the first time. So let's go from your highest pitch, ooh, probably higher. I don't know how high you can go. And then we're going to scroll. We're going to slide down. Gee,
Okay.
slide down to the lowest pitch. Oh. Give it a try.
Oh, sorry. That was. I'm trying to be quiet. Sorry.
Ooh, okay. B2. Wow.
I'll try again.
That's impressive. Oh. Yeah, try it again. Ooh, okay. A2. Nice. All right. How easily can you access those pitches? Are they like really hard to access for you, or like, is it like easy enough
That
to
one
do?
in particular wasn't. It wasn't hard. It's just kind of hard to maintain. I guess. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Typically, if you're like used to talking up here, it's going to be harder to be talking down there
Yeah.
because you're not really used to do this,
Very
you know.
much.
But yeah, let's look
Yeah.
at this. Let's take a look. All right. Let's try this out. I want to see how dark you can get now. I kind of have assessed your range. You can go down to an A2, which is, by the way, really, really low. Like you're like here, basically. You could consider this the
Didn't know you got that
middle
low.
of the mask
Again, I
range.
don't really know pitches
Yeah.
very well, though.
Oh, it's okay. So basically, it's just like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I probably did it wrong because I don't have a musical ear. But anyways, it just repeats
neither.
over and over again on octaves, and it's all you need to know. It's like, it's letters, and they're just conventions to help us communicate how high we are. So it doesn't really matter what they are. Okay, so, but what matters is that you can go that low. Okay, so now let's give this a try. Let's talk about darkness. Can you give me a really quiet whisper? Like, hello. Awesome.
Would you like-
And now you're going to try. Yes, I heard that one. Good. Now try to say a really bright pat that cat. Like, pat that cat.
Sorry, my mouth is like right
Awesome.
next to my microphone. I'm sorry.
What's right next to your microphone?
Well, I have like. We see my phone as a microphone because my microphone is broken, but.
Oh, yeah, okay. I hear you're fine, so don't worry. Now,
Okay.
let's try this. We're going to go down to a darker voice. So let's try and make the pat a lot darker. Pat, pat,
Pot. 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 Pot.
Okay, very good. And now can you say,
Pot that cat. Pot that cat.
Sorry, I'm like.
okay, that's
I have,
really
I have
good.
like my microphone playing in my ears as I speak, and it's kind of hard to talk over myself.
Oh, no. Is that an issue for you? Like, do you hear yourself properly? Do you hear me properly?
Yeah, I hear you properly. It's just like. I don't know. It sounds weird to me, but like. Never mind. I'm just. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So far you got a really dark pat the cat.
Pot that cat.
And that's really good. Nice. Now, if we can combine those two, in theory,
You could, in theory, get this voice.
right? If you combine the low pitch you showed me with the darkness that you just did. So let's see if we can make that work. So first of all, I think I'll try a different approach first because those low pitches are hard for you to access. I'll first try and have you speak a little bit at those really low pitches and see how you fare with it. Oh no. Okay, so first off, let's start here. Match my pitch and that first sentence. Match my pitch. Okay, you're a bit lower. You're here. Don't move from there. That mad brat.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, you went higher this time. Okay, so, you go.
One sec.
Sure thing.
Sorry. So I have like a minor pitch
Yeah.
modifier active right now, which is like it's not like a semitone or so.
yes.
Should I turn that off or?
Wait, you have a pitch modifier right now?
A
Oh,
very
that's why
subtle
you're
one,
getting
but
the
yes.
pitch. That's why you're
Yeah.
getting the pitches off. Oh
Sorry.
my god. Okay, that makes so much sense.
I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. It's fine. Let us just
Should I
both
turn it
remove
off,
our
or-
pitch modifiers. All right, I'm turning mine off.
Okay.
Turning it off. Oh no.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is the real me.
Okay. Okay, now that the pitch modifier is off, I think we can match the same pitches. All right, so let's try this out. There you go. It was indeed a problem. So this is a D free. Very good. Let's try and read that first sentence monotonously. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Okay, very good.
I talk fast.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's go a bit lower. Down to a C free. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Of course. And then it's just the same sentence. That mad brat sat on that flat mat. Just match this pitch, C3. Go for it.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, let's keep going lower. Let's go for a B2. It should be just a semitone lower. Yes, okay. And from here, that mad brat. Give it a try.
That mad.
Yeah, you got it.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Nice, nice. Okay. And let's try a bit lower. Down to A sharp 2. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That's very good. Okay, very solid. And now we try the following. We're going to try and make that sound a lot darker. Because right now you sound like that mad brat sat on that flat mat, which is like already really like low in pitch, but it could be darker, you know, like this just sounds like a little bit brighter than you would expect a mask voice to be. So now, that mad brat. To achieve this, you can either try to do the pat that cat going brighter to dark and then bridge into the voice, or you can try to just try and go for the feeling of the
dark whisper.
and try to use that as a reference point for you to darken your voice. So let's give it a try. Follow after me. Pat. Pat. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. Very good. And now,
Pat that cat.
okay.
I just like
Yeah, okay.
with like some time structure.
So careful there because you might have noticed here you did this. Oh, whoops. Okay. So basically, you shot back up to the brighter resonance that you usually do.
Yeah.
So the bridging wasn't quite perfect. So another way you can try is like to do like your yawn, you know, like,
if you do like a really big yawn and you stay down there, then you get like a really dark voice.
You want to try that? Just a good old yawn. It's already so tiring. Yes, just like that.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds a bit like monkey, but that's the right way to go. And so from here,
Oh, okay, now you go low in pitch again, down to where you were before. Oh, and then you can try. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
yeah, that's nice. Okay,
That mad brat son of a mad. Yeah, dude, you got it.
okay, that was awesome. Good job. Yay. Okay, so I'm afraid our time is up here, but that was a really good performance. Note, first of all, I do want you to be a bit aware of pitches. As I showed you before, your pitch range is generally kind of, well, yeah, like generally when I hear you talking, you're like kind of like around this. So you're like, I guess in the perfectly androgynous range, but you have the capability to go all the way down to like, you know, like a C3, like a A3 even I've heard at some point. So you can go really low. Harness that range that you have, and I'm sure that maybe with practice you might even find lower pitches. So yeah, use those low pitches in conjunction with
With that monkey noise, that really dark sound.
that you can find with the yawn or with the dark whisper. And generally, I do recommend that you do work with some pitch monitoring app. I recommend all of these apps. They're pretty good to monitor your pitch. My personal favorite is Vocal Pitch Monitor because it tells you just what the pitch is doing. But yeah, you can use any of these apps.
I don't have an Android.
You have iOS?
Yes.
Then I recommend Nails the Pitch. That works just fine.
Cool beans.
There should be a free version
Thank you.
on the App Store. You're welcome. All right. Congrats to Xuni. Thank you for being on stage. You did great.
Also, it's pronounced Sunny.
I did not know. Sorry, Sunny. Okay. Okay. Applause for Sunny.
No worries.
Double applause. Okay. So now, I'll be having someone else move up on stage who wants to learn to feminize their voices. Please raise your hand. Okay, Zohor says you're interested in feminizing your voice?
It's
Or-
mostly, I already have a feminine voice, so it's like, I want to be able to make it more androgynous.
Okay, so then I'll be taking you later for the masculine part. But for now, feminine voices. So
Okay.
Chirper, you want to move on stage?
Yes, please. I have the hands
All
on
right.
my screen.
Oh, yeah, sure. Please come up. Come on. Applause for Chirper. All right. Hi. How you doing? Hello.
Not too bad.
Nice. Great to know. All right. So now let us get started. We get 10 minutes starting from now. I just bonked my headset. Ouch. Yes. All right. Chirper, welcome. Is this your first time here? Like ever?
It is.
Oh, wow. Like workshop or stage or both?
Yeah, workshop.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome. Well, welcome. What do you already know about voice? Is this all like shrouded in shadows, or do you know a little bit about the terminology we use and the exercises we do here?
I've watched a few like voice tutorials on YouTube, but it's kind of all gone over my head, to be honest. I know about resonance,
happens.
about all of that stuff. So a lot of buzzwords, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Yeah,
apply it to
lots
myself
of
quite yet.
buzzwords. Yeah, it's annoying to make sense of this. I understand. It's totally fair. So let's try and look at this together. So first of all, what I'll be asking you to do is to kind of, well, first ask you, do you already have like a voice in progress that you have been trying to do, like a femme voice on your own? It doesn't matter how well advanced it is. I just want to know if you have like a baseline to work out from.
I've tried to like feminize my voice by bringing the pitch higher, like and doing that kind of stuff.
Very good.
but
Mhm.
reading is still very difficult with it. I feel like I really
course.
is unable to control at that sort of pitch levels.
Interesting. So, like, if I ask you to read this sentence, ah, that mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Oh, you're climbing up. That mad brat sat on that flat mat. Okay. So, I get you. It's not easy, and as I already stated before with others, is that when you are speaking with a higher pitch, it's just not enough to feminize your voice, right? Again,
You can have like the darkest of voice and speak really high up there and not sound feminine ever.
because pitch is not the only thing you want to worry about. If there's one word you have to care about, Chirper, that would be resonance. Or we call this, on the more, I guess, scientifically accurate term, vocal tract size, because we're literally referring to how big the
Tract is. If it's really big, you get like a really dark voice, and if it's
really small, then you got a really bright voice. Okay? And we want to achieve a brighter voice because it basically mimics the anatomy of a voice that was not exposed to testosterone, aka a feminine voice. Okay?
Okay.
So let's try this together. First, give me a very gentle whisper, like a hello.
Hello.
All right, awesome. And then we're going to say, pat that cat really dark.
Pot that cat.
No, not quite. I mean, I appreciate the,
pot that cat.
but on the whisper, please. So just like make it like voiceless, like, you know, like you're trying to be quiet. Be really quiet. Shh.
Yes, awesome orc can whisper.
Okay, and now we bring that brighter. Sorry. So now,
Pot, 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 pot,
pat, pat, pat. Yes. Yes, you got it. Okay, cool. So I want you to do something on your own. IRL, take your hand and put it lightly on your neck. Okay? Now you want to redo that thing of
pot, pot, pot.
pat, pat, pat. And I want you to tell me, what do you feel when you do this?
My hands don't feel anything. I feel constricted around the neck.
Okay, you're not choking yourself to death, are you?
Sorry.
You're not choking yourself to death, are you?
No.
Okay, so I
Choke
did notice that.
Slightly
I did
on
notice.
neck.
Okay, good. So generally what you're supposed to feel, and perhaps you just don't have a really prominent larynx to begin with, maybe your Adam's apple doesn't show too much, but basically you're supposed to feel the bump move from really low to really high, or really means basically like a difference of a few millimeters or at most like a centimeter or so. Generally, like, it will not move too much, but the effect will be there. Even if you don't feel it with your hand, you hear it. You did go from pot all the way up to pat, right? So in that sense, you did it right because you achieved a brighter sound than before, okay? Now, with that said, you did say that you felt like you were constricted, and that's no bueno. That's not going to yield a good voice at the end of the day. If you are constricted on the whisper, then if you try to create a voice of this, then the voice will also be constricted, and it's just not going to work. Worst case scenario, you sound like a witch. Or other bad case scenario is you bridge into the voice, but you lose all of what you've been working on because your voice is like, yeah, this is not going to work, so I'm just going to go back to something that works and just like bring you back to like a more masculine sound, okay? So when you feminize the whisper, when you bring the whisper higher or brighter, I should say, you want to make sure that you don't push too much air, and you want to make sure that the whisper stays easy to do. That means you don't want to do that will be extremely tiring to the voice. No, instead what you want to do is take like the lowest amount of air to really go. It's extremely quiet. Yes. And now it should feel less constricted.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does.
Oh, interesting. Careful there on the whistle. Okay, so generally here that's better. I'm also hearing like this kind of whistle that comes with bringing your voice brighter. And that's because you probably have the false vocal folds that are being engaged. So what do those mean? If you take a look at this graph real quick, when I refer to false vocal folds, I refer to this bit on the sides. Oh yeah, by the way, this is what your voice looks like. Cool, right? So generally, when you use your voice normally, you use like those white things here, the vocal folds, and they vibrate really quickly each second, like several hundred of times per second, basically. And next to them, you'll find the false vocal folds. They're generally used and heard of in like older voices,
Like a grandpa voice or
a grandma voice. It's also the thing used by Batman, you know, I don't know, I think he says something like,
where is she?
or something like that. And it's like, it's using those false vocal folds. It's using that really beefy part. And in that case of voice feminization, it's not really good because you're going to have like a really aged voice, but also a voice that will end up hurting and not functioning well for many settings. And when you're doing this constricted whisper, you are pretty much engaging those where you're not in your masculine voice, or whatever, like your default voice, I should say. So yeah, you do want to be careful to really pursue like a really bright but really easy to do sound. That's paramount to practicing your voice. Okay,
So I'm closing my vocal folds. Is that it?
that's correct. Basically, you're supposed to only close the normal vocal folds. Well, the problem is, okay, I have to preface this. When you're whispering, your vocal folds are not vibrating. Normally what happens is, what you see right now is not like an exact depiction of what's happening. Normally, your vocal folds kind of vibrate like this, right? They kind of like do this motion of like, they touch and they close and they open, right? When I do, this here happens several hundred times per second, okay? But when you're whispering, they don't touch ever. That's why you hear the whisper as a very distinct sound. That's the sound of the air brushing past the vocal folds without the vocal folds ever touching, okay? And so I think what's happening is when you're doing that whisper, your body is trying to find closure like here, but because you're doing a whisper, the false vocal folds are getting engaged, and so kind of creating that stressed whisper, basically. So yeah, but let's resume. That's not the only thing I want to do. Let's try now to bring that bright sound, and that's not the correct graph. Uh-oh. La 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 la, sorry about this. Okay. All right, so now I want to try the following. Please mimic after me.
Pot.
Good. And now you're going to take that whisper really easy. Make it not sound like
Pot.
but more like
Pot. Pot, like really quiet. Pot.
yeah. That's good. Okay, and now we're going to climb up.
Pot.
Pot, pot, pot. Good. Okay. No need to go too far, right? Maybe you're going too high and you're causing that stress to happen. This is more than enough. You don't need to like constrict. So this one was good. And from there, you're going to try. Okay, that's the right pitch, but one octave below. So let's try this again at the same octave. So you're here. Match my pitch here. Now you're Yes. Now let's do this. Let's go a bit higher than that. Okay, keep it there. Yes. Now go back to whatever you usually speak at.
Like here.
And now go back to Awesome. Good. Let's try this again. Good. We're training your accuracy here. Yes, there you go. Okay, so now you've done this, now you might be more able to get to that right pitch, okay? And from there, let's start evaluating. Yes, and now aiming for the pitch. You're gonna try. Okay, that's the magnitude's better. Yes. Okay, there we go. And now can you say, pat that cat?
Pat the cat.
Okay, very good.
The cat.
Yes. Okay, now read the sentence. Pat that mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Okay, that's really good. Nice. Okay, so you went from like this pitch, but a lot darker, to yes, a little bit of a shaky voice, but like it's already like in a brighter, more feminine position. That mad brat, that's you, don't laugh. You know, that mad brat sat on that flat mat. Okay, so there you go. You got it. So now with practice and a bit more polishing and recording yourself and listening back to yourself, I'm sure you'll be able to get a fem voice in no time. So be sure to practice that whisper scale. Be sure to not constrict your voice too much, or you're not going to be able to bridge into the full voice like you did again. That mad brat. You know, try different words, different sounds. You know, your resonance might drop, so you have to be careful with that. And yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Took a little bit of time, but we got there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. All right, applause to Sherper. Yippee, okay. So now we'll have up on stage a person who wants to masculinize or androgynize their voice. I believe you wanted to go. All right, Xo horses, come up on stage. Come on, come on, come on. Applause for horses or Exo. I don't know how to say your name. Hello.
I'm horses. Hi.
Hi, horses. Hello. What's up?
So for my voice has like a lot of shakiness, and I would like to like make it so that I can be like in a lower pitch like this.
Okay.
But it's hard to maintain.
Okay, I see. When you mention that shakiness, yes, I do hear it. Is this like a thing that like you have had the entire time, or is it due to like a specific sound you're trying to practice?
I'm trying to practice down here, but it's like it's hard to like make it sound like real enough. Like
Okay.
it doesn't. It feels like I'm forcing it. Like
Yeah, I can kind of hear it. Like, it's like you're using a lot of air, but like you're closing the vocal folds a lot, and like the air just can't come out, you know? It kind of like sounds really pressed in a sense. Does that sound close to like what you're experiencing?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I might have a hint of what's I might have a hint in mind of what's happening. Okay. I also need to ask, like, so this voice that you're doing right now, is that your neutral voice, or is that like your voice that you're working on?
This is my neutral, like every day.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna kind of like test out your range, see how high and how low you can go. Let's give that a try, okay? Can you give me your highest pitch? Maybe it's something like, ooh. Okay, and now
Like,
let's slide down. Yeah, from. Okay. So what's the pitch here? Let me check my pitch monitor. Okay. Okay, let's see. So please match my pitch. Please match my voice after me, okay?
Okay.
Okay. You're here. Then let's try and step down.
Is
Try to
that
keep
good?
it on an O sound. Yeah. Try to do like Yes. Very good.
Like-
And now let's try and go lower of that. Okay. You seem to be creaking it really
Yeah.
quickly. So
Yeah, it's hard.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna try a different thing. Whew, it's really hot in
Yeah.
here. I'm sorry. VR is
Yeah,
horrible in
me
summer.
too. I feel it. I feel it.
We're
Yeah.
burning. Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. So yeah, here with this, sorry, it's so warm. My brain is not functioning correctly. So here, like the creak sound, I want to talk a little bit about what happens when you do it, so we like have a better understanding of it. So first of all, when you see those vocal folds, right? That's kind of like the anatomy of them. We already saw them a little bit before. But when you are, being whispery, then your vocal folds are completely open. Right?
Okay.
But the way you talk to me, or really the way anyone talks, is in a closed position. Actually, that's not true. It's more so like an alternate, like both positions are alternating really quickly, 100 times per second. Depends on which pitch you're doing, right? So when you do it basically just clicks really fast, and that fast click eventually becomes music is rhythm in a sense. Now what we're noticing is that when you go to those lower pitches, you end up creaking really quickly. So what causes a creak sound to happen? Well, most importantly, what we'll have to be seeing here is that when you're creaking, your vocal folds are generally going more towards a closed position. So as opposed to the whisper, where your vocal folds are completely open, with the creak, your vocal folds are like really closed, And so here, there is two ways to avoid that. You can either try to push more air to get through that barrier and basically make use of the closure, but push more air to recreate a more normal vibration. Or you can instead try and go for a whisper, tend to kind of lean towards a whisper. So kind of like a gradient where you open the vocal folds to explore a voice where your vocal folds are a little bit more open, to kind of help you find a more normal voice at those lower pitches. Okay, so I'm gonna try both methods. So let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you go to your lowest comfortable pitch? Give it a try.
Okay. That sounds like my lowest.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
really
So
hard.
it's really hard. It's like you're around like a B3 kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Can you do the slide again from high to low? Okay, that was interesting. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna
I'm
try it
creaking
here.
a lot.
It's fine. Don't worry. So now you take that creak sound, and you try to hold it for a little bit. And now you're gonna try and push more air for them, because right now you have. If you push more air, you should have.
Like a full sound.
Give it a try.
Okay.
Okay. It seems like it didn't work. Instead, we had. You kind of made the vocal folds vibrate faster, but you didn't add more air. Let's try this from another approach. Let's just take a whisper.
Yeah.
I want you to just like do this. You want to expel air normally, kind of like. Try this out, like a sigh. Okay, very good. Okay, and now you can try and make that sigh like really intense, really strong, like. Okay, and now you're gonna try and put that sigh behind the creak. So basically, you should have. I know it sounds weird, but like it's gonna get your vocal folds vibrating a bit more open.
Okay.
Give it a try.
Okay, that's harder than I thought.
Yeah, it can be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I wonder I wonder if the issue is not that you're leaning too much on closure. So I want to try instead here a gradient to help you find a more whispery sound. Okay, so let's do the following. Match my pitch here. Okay, you're here. Now, can you find creak on that pitch? Kind of like,
Okay, let me try.
Yes, you can. Okay, very good.
Yeah, there we go.
So what you just did here was a balanced to creaky to balanced and kind of back and forth. So you are able to go balanced to creaky back and forth at that given pitch. Now I'm going to try and go a little bit further towards breathy and whispery. Starting on a creaky sound, we're going to try to do the following. The higher pitch you were at. Okay, sorry about the alarm. Do you need to hear it again?
Oh boy.
Yeah. That's gonna be tricky, but yeah, give it a try. So creaky, balanced, just like The next step is breathy.
Okay.
You can hear how like I'm losing a lot of air.
Yeah.
Right? The loss of air is actually the vocal folds being too open, and that's kind of what we want to be looking at. So give it a try. Try to find the breathy sound.
Let me try it.
Okay, you got it. Now let's see. Can you bring that breathy sound really low in pitch? Like okay.
I'm trying. It's hard.
I did hear a bit of a whirring sound here. This generally is what we call a diplophonic behavior of the voice. It's kind of strange. So yeah, generally speaking, what I would say is you seem to be dealing with too much vocal fold closure, and you seem to be dealing with that struggle of like having that voice that's like too pressed and like too closed. Now I wonder, this type of voice I heard with that like is usually characteristic of a voice that might have like a bit of an issue. So do you have the possibility to like see a doctor? Like, is it reimbursed? Like, is it not too expensive in your situation? If so, I do recommend to see a laryngologist to have like a full checkup of your voice. Because right now, from my perspective as a teacher, I have my understanding that yes, your voice is like more pressed, but I also have like a bit of a worry that perhaps something might be going on here. So just to be sure, if you can, do see if you can have like an appointment.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll try it.
Awesome. Okay, so the doctor you're looking for is a laryngologist, okay? Or I suppose a speech and language pathologist could also probably like direct you to one. So yeah, if it's not too expensive and it's something you can access to, I would consider this. You know, my role here is as a vocal coach. I am not a doctor. I do know a lot about voice, but when it comes to something that's potentially medical, I make sure to reorient people to the right place. So yeah, but
I have had.
Yeah.
I will say I have a vocal cord surgery, and that made my voice louder. So it's like it's hard to control.
I see. Okay. Okay, I kind of knew there was something going on there. Then in that case, when did that surgery happen? Like, has it been a long time or is it like recent?
It's been a very long time.
Okay. Interesting. So basically what's happening is, I suppose post the surgery, you probably had like an appointment with an SLP, like a speech language pathologist to kind of like help you re-educate your voice. Did you do that? Okay. And what did they do?
I didn't do that, but it was mostly like when I was younger, so I don't really have memories of it.
Oh, okay. I see. Well then, in that case, I would recommend that you can you maybe see like an SLP, see if they can have like a more thorough and a more I guess like a more often appointments with you, like a weekly kind of check-in, and they will give you like a lot of exercises and a follow-up on your vocal health, especially since you said you had voice surgery and you didn't have a re-education after that. Kind of sounds really strange to me. Like, you're supposed to like have a follow-up after such an intense surgery to like make sure the voice still works fine and all that.
Yeah. It was
and if
it was a while. It was like when I was like 7 and now I'm like 20 now.
Oh
so
my
that's
gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah, then I don't know the specifics of it, but from my point of view, you can try to go more towards those breathy sounds to like find more opening of the vocal folds towards the lower pitches. My advice still holds, but I do recommend that you like have a more medical follow-up on this so that you best can work on your voice. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. You did well. Good job to horses. Clap, clap.
Applause noises.
Woo! Poggers. Everyone is so tired. What's happening? All right. So this, I am afraid, concludes once again our workshop. Hey, everyone. If you've enjoyed this lesson, I teach voice lessons myself at, on Discord with the name Savvy_SAV, all in small letters, kind of like what I have above my name, my username, sorry. I teach I teach both voice feminization as well as
Voice masculinization.
And I also teach stuff such as human beatboxing with sounds such as So if you want to learn any of this, shoot me a message in Discord at this name. Other than that, I also have a Discord community called Scientifically Augmented Voice. You can join it at discord.gg/smalldbwr big QMV. Or capitalized QMV. Sorry. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Of course, we have the lovely voice gang out at, not out, but rather in the Trans Academy server that I'm sure most of you are already familiar with. Hashtag voice training is the channel that you want to be asking your questions in. Jessa and I and other people that are really knowledgeable about voice will give you advice if you need it. But yeah, if you want a lesson, you can book one with me. Other than that, thank you all for showing up today. I'll be seeing you again in 2 weeks. In the meantime, y'all take care of yourself, and I'll be catching you in the next one. Bye-bye!
Thank you again, Savvy. Woo!
Woo!